coach, Jen Eckler with the next. Just curious, Shakira Austin and Kiki are Ben both coming off double doubles in their last game. What stands out to you kind of about that pairing and the challenges they pose?
Their activity level, first and foremost, on both ends of the floor. They're very active. They move without the ball. They get in and out of screens quickly. You really got to take care of your job at the point of all those screens and dribble handoffs because they fly out there so quickly.
This is kind of weird. You guys have played without Gavin for so much throughout the year that I'm sure there's not a big adjustment. It's not that it's official on the court, but kind of mentally, kind of knowing, all right, decision is made, moving forward, she's not coming back for a playoffs or anything like that. Is there something kind of mental that's kind of changes now that it's officially official?
I don't know if there's something mentally that changes outside of theirs clarity, and it's thinking about how you work her back in if she's coming back versus now that we have a little bit more of a rhythm and flow with our new players, what it looks like. So I don't know if it's a mental advantage or disadvantage as much as now there's just clarity. We know we're continuing to move forward with this group who has earned the right to be in the position that they're in, and we just continue to put one foot in front of the other and move forward.
Steph, obviously a big game today. Kind of just thinking big picture for a second. When you think back to the beginning of the season, if someone were to tell you, like, this is where you would be and this is your team, like, to the end of the season, like, genuinely, what do you think your reaction would be?
Probably no stinking way. I don't think, thinking back to the beginning of the season, that anyone would have ever foreseen it going like this. And for whatever reason, things happen, and you've got to continue to put your best foot forward. You've got to continue to stay the course. This group has been forced to grow strong roots, and teams can go one of two ways when those things happen. You either use it to pull you together and it's motivation to continue to get better and do it for one another and do it for your teammates that have been lost to injury, or it pulls some teams apart. And I think that when I look at this group, I'm just so incredibly thankful for the type of people that we have in this locker room, for the way that they have been able to continue to stay the course and bounce back and stay together, to pull for one another, to really be flexible enough to make space for different types of teams that we've had throughout the course of the year, and to continue to put ourselves in position to be in the playoff hunt.
Kind of to that last point, you've been in several playoff clinching games before. How different do they feel, especially when it's late in the season? And specifically with this team and the season you've had, does this one and this year make it feel any different than past seasons when your team's been?
I mean, it really feels like many of the games over the last week to 10 days have felt like playoff games, and then that's oftentimes what it feels like at this time of the year, especially when you're in the position that we're in. The most important thing for our team, and we've been saying it, I know it sounds cliche, is that we have to be where our feet are. Like, this game is the most important thing. Washington is the most important opponent, and it's been that type of mindset over the last couple of weeks, for us. And we've got to come out and we've got to play our best basketball. We've got to make sure that not one person feels like they have to do more. They just have to be the best version of themselves, and we've got to execute at a high level.
Check.
With the way the season has gone for you all, and we talk about the character that you have in the locker room, I'm curious as to what you have learned about this team, but as well to yourself as a head coach before you embark on a playoff run with the situation you've gone through this season.
Yeah, I think I just continue to learn, how tough our team is, mentally, physically, and emotionally, how selfless they are. We talked so much about being selfless early in the year because we knew we had quality depth and not everybody was going to get a play. And it sort of manifested itself in a different way. Selfless in that, we've had to give of ourselves, continue to give of ourselves throughout the course of the year in different ways. And especially bringing in various new players, starting with Ari and ending with Bree Hall the other day, because they bring different skill sets, and our players have had to really adjust to playing with those different skill sets and putting them in positions for success. I think I've learned that this team is incredibly resilient, that they are for each other. You know it, or you think you know it, but you're not really tested in those ways until you see these multiple challenges that we've seen. And when you're tested and you still see, and their character still shines through, it makes it a fun group to be a part of. You know, I think I've learned with myself and with our staff in particular, you know, how flexible we can be. You know, we've had to make a multitude of changes, you know, not just in lineup, but our attacks on both ends of the floor. We've had to scale back a lot and simplify a lot, and we've had to adjust. We've had to do it quickly. And I'm really proud of our staff for being able to do that, to be able to think outside of the box and the different ways that we can play, different matchups that we can have, coverages we can have, attacks we can have, and the different players that we're putting the ball in the hands of to initiate offense and create offense for one another. So, you know, it's never easy when you go through it, but you know, fortunately for me, I've had enough life experience to know that, you know, no matter what, every day we're gonna continue to challenge our team to put our best foot forward and let the chips fall where they may.
Staff is a team that has challenged you all at times this season. I know you talked about Kiki and Shakira in particular, but just other areas that you think that you guys want to be really sharp tonight to come up with.
Well, we got to play with multiple levels of effort. I mean, this is a team that is continually moving in offense the entire shot clock. And our last matchup, you know, I believe that they had probably 12 to 14 points the last second of the shot clock. You can't relax. They're in constant movement. They play the same way, no matter what the time on the clock is, no matter what the score is. They make it really difficult to guard. And so we've got to stay disciplined on the defensive end of the floor. Our attention to detail has to be great. We got to play with multiple levels of effort. And then offensively, we've got to be patient enough to get the best shot on the floor. You know, they're a solid defensive team. They mix it up between man and zone. We've got to make sure that we're reading the coverages. We've got to make sure that we're knocking down open shots. You know, and we've got to win the battle at the free throw line.
You mentioned the core group of players being really welcoming, getting the new players up to speed. Have you seen maybe the newcomers come together as a group and rely on each other? Has anyone kind of stood out in that group too?
You know, I don't know about just relying on each other. I think that they've been able to rely heavily on the players that have been here. But you know, I think they all stand out in different ways. I mean, you know, certainly when we lost a player like Ari, and you can gain a player like Odyssey who can get to the rim, who can again take some pressure off of Kelsey Mitchell and being the only playmaker, you know, and being able to do that, and we need her to do that consistently. And then Shea Betty, who's a veteran, who really understands how to manage a team. And that was an important get for us after losing Sophie, who also understands how to manage a team, and having somebody who can be a calm person in the huddles and the timeouts, who's had various experiences in the W and professionally, you know, that can bring that experience. We lost that with Sophie, we lost that with Sid, and obviously they're not traveling with us. You know, Ariel Powers is a great energy player, and you know, one of the things that I feel like was the strength of Sophie's that she brought to our group was that energy. And Ariel's now able to bring that as well. And Bree Hall brings length and athleticism on the perimeter that we're going to need, certainly defensively. You know, we start with 2 little guards, 2 medium guards. And, you know, Bree can give us that length and athleticism when we need to make those adjustments on the wing. So, you know, I feel like each one of them has brought a piece that we needed. And we need to continue to put them in positions to be successful.